The greenhouse gas CO2 is everywhere. We breathe out CO2. When fossil fuels are burned, they release CO2, but there is too much CO2. That is why it is important that new sources of energy do not emit CO2. Circular Energy has developed a solution to produce clean energy from Dutch offshore gas fields. We have the technology to tackle the pollution of fossil fuel production, and we do that at the source. First, we drill a well to produce the natural gas. This is very much like the industry has always done. Then we drill a second well for the injection of CO2. So we inject CO2 in the same reservoir as the one we are producing. The installation we build meets the highest standard of safety and sustainability. The installation can be reused for other fields. The gas that we produce is used for offshore power generation. Of course, we will not let the emitted CO2 escape. The CO2 is captured using amines. The amines release the CO2 again, and the CO2 is compressed. The CO2 is injected into the reservoir, maintaining the reservoir pressure. This way we produce Dutch natural gas and we dispose of the waste. The power is transmitted to end users on land using the existing offshore and onshore grid. When the field is empty, we tidy up after ourselves. The reservoir now holds the CO2 that was emitted during power production. Because the volume of injected CO2 is exactly the same as the volume of produced natural gas, the reservoir pressure is unchanged. The wells are plugged with concrete. The reservoir is an ideal and safe long-term storage. Because the pressure has not changed, there is no risk of earthquakes or subsidence. The reservoir that has held natural gas for millions of years is now filled with CO2. We have closed the circle. Dutch natural gas has been turned into climate-neutral power, and we have cleaned up the waste.